Yeah, boys. We're good to go. I think I'll play the Hornet first. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna play the Hornet. I just got done finishing my goddamn papers, so now we're here, boys. If you're in the chat, I don't know what you're doing on a Friday morning at 11. Well, about an hour away. Yeah, I just finished my fucking paper on Vietnam, so I'm going to enjoy doing something that's not writing. And maybe some of you will enjoy it with me. Maybe, maybe not. But I'm gonna do it for myself anyway, so. La, la, la. Ah, we have people. Oh my god. Well, I will attempt to bum. Yeah, anyway, my Vietnam paper was over General Westmoreland. He is a interesting character. Let's just say that. If you don't really know, he's the basically he was the McAfee guy for all of Vietnam, which basically means he was the general in charge of everything that happened. And during that time, America fought a war that we did not like to, and we did not win. And he was blamed for a lot of the failures that happened there. And by a lot, I mean he was basically the sole person blamed for everything that went wrong, which is unfair to the man. He actually was kind of like a MacArthur, if any of you remember that infamous man. Like at 38, he became a general, which is very hard to do. Even back then, it was extremely hard to do because this is after World War II. And then he became superintendent for West Point, which again is also extremely hard to do. And he wasn't an incompetent man like everybody thought he was. Like everyone, like the usual story for General Westmoreland was, he is a bad man. He didn't know what we were doing. Battle of attrition. Yeah. When in reality, when you have superior firepower and you can't take any losses because your political will at home goes away if you take any sort of losses, I mean, it makes sense to actually use that strategy at that point, which is exactly what he did. Um, and in doing so, he kept his war support relatively high because remember, the United States was at war from we had troops in Vietnam since well, if we go back since like 44, 45, but in reality, when U.S. ground troops got there, it was 64 to 72, which is a long, long, long time if you really think about it. Um, and yeah, he was the dude that oversaw everything. Basically, I mean, he was the one that did the first 4 years, and after that, I mean, at 68, it was over because the war was over. I mean, we had taken too many casualties, and everybody's like, "What are we doing here?" The My Lai massacre, which is its own thing, had all of that stuff happen, And yeah, he got blamed for everything. Which, to be fair, is unfair of him to blame everything on him. Because I mean, what is the one? He is the commanding general, but when your hands are tied behind your back by like hundreds of politicians saying that this is what you should do, I mean, like, there's not much you can do. Um, and his battle of attrition, which is what he was mainly blamed for, was not necessarily his fault. Because again, he had to work with what he had, and it wasn't much, right? Like, can't take any casualties, so therefore we're gonna do a battle of attrition. The problem with the battle of attrition, just like at the Confederates, just like the Union, basically, the American Civil War, had to deal with, which was the Confederacy, right? Which was, wow, all those bombers died. Is that you're gonna take losses, heavy losses on both sides. Um, yeah, and if you take losses on both sides, like that was the main thing that I don't think he really understood. Practically, was you do a battle of attrition, you're gonna take losses. Verdun, Germans took almost as many losses as the French, and the Union, when we attacked Richmond in 1864, 1865, again, we took a lot of losses. We actually took more losses, right? But they couldn't replace other errors for the Confederacy, and France had the yeah, and France had the damn problem of can't. I mean, they could replace their losses, but it was just a meat grinder, right? Oh, where boot James? Yeah, can't deal with losses or deal with political flashback. Meanwhile, Anzacs dealing with huge losses turns into his true. That is true. So if you look, well, the problem with okay, so if we go back a little bit, maybe you know this, maybe you don't, right? So I found some videos recently on the British Empire, right? So if you go back to like pre like 1900 and a little bit beforehand, the concept of us being actual Australian or New Zealander or Canadian didn't really exist the way it does now. Um, what I mean by that is like if you look back, they all consider themselves, you know, British citizens, right? They're of the empire. There was no concept of, oh, we should have our own dominion, right? Or our own country and everything like that. Didn't exist. Just didn't exist at the time. All these bombers are gonna die. I'm gonna not even hit this damn carrier. Come on, baby. But yeah, so just yeah, they're all dead. So it did exist, and that was the crux of the issue there was it didn't exist, right? Then you do Gallipoli, right? And you have nothing but Anzacs. I mean, there were British troops there. Let's not get this wrong. The whole goddamn British Navy was there. And then you have Anzacs, and they took immense losses under British command. And it builds a spirit of unity between all of the guys in the Anzacs, right? So then they actually form their own country for the Dominions. All parts of the empire. This is also true, right? So if you look at the British Raj, right, before, again, in 1900, the concept of India literally didn't exist. Nobody even thought of it, okay? India back then was princes, okay? Just a whole bunch of princes doing whatever the hell they wanted, right, with the British Empire overruling them, and the British Empire, of course, you know, rules over sectors of India, right? But the concept of being Indian didn't exist. There were concepts of, like, Punjab or regions, right? All that existed, but none of this other stuff, right? And then for India especially, right, if the World War One didn't happen, India probably wouldn't have formed. If none of the world wars happened, India probably wouldn't have formed at all. There's a high chance that is actually plausible, just considering the fact that the amount that India contributed to the war was immense, right, for World War One and Two, especially Two. But even just for World War One, you have to take a look at like the casualty ratio of what happened, right? Because back then, maybe not many people know, is that you had to be a select caste of Indian. Okay, I don't know if many of you know this, but I'm like half Indian, half Native American, half white. So congratulations, and I know my skin color kind of, but you had to be a select class of Indian, right? So, like the Sikhs, right? The guys that wear turbans on their head. They're not actually Taliban, you know. They wear turbans on their head, right? And they're the guys that do, like, most of the fighting, right? Because this was the belief at the time, was the other classes of people, farmers, laborers, merchants, did not have the fighting spirit to be in the army. Therefore, they were not allowed in the army. And this was an Indian policy, right? It wasn't a British one. The Indian people were like, nah, maybe those people over there, they can't do it, right? So they artificially already limited themselves to how much manpower they can have, right? Oh, we lost this match anyway. But when they did that, they limited their stuff, right? And when you limit your manpower in World War I, when you limit your manpower, guess what? A lot of those people that came from those regions didn't come back, and when they didn't come back, leads to a little bit of nationalism. Be like, why did we go die for the empire, right? But here's the thing: in World War I, a lot of Indians actually saw their service like it was like, hey, it's beneficial to the empire. We're fighting for our empire, right? Like, and all of that stuff stems from the First World War. It's all on nationalism and everything, right? At least for the British Empire. I'm not saying that it wouldn't have happened, right? Like India probably would have done something, right? And maybe Australia and Canada would have done something. But the main reason those happened was, one, because the British just didn't want it to happen. They didn't actually want to have like states. Like if you go look at the Dutch right now, right? They're the South American and the one in the Caribbean. They're actually core Dutch territory, right? They're Dutch, full-on Dutch citizens, right? And they believe they're Dutch. That didn't happen with the British. That never happened with them. Because they didn't want it to happen. There's no forceful integration. The only time that really started to even think about coming around was during Churchill. And by that time, it was way too late. So, I mean, and if they wanted to, they would have had to do it earlier, but they didn't, right? There's no concept of that even happening. And, if that doesn't happen, you just don't get your stuff, right? So, well, then all that nationalism stuff happened again. Again, not to say the British Empire was amazing or anything, but they did rule half the damn world, and they were good at it. A hot take opinion there. They were actually good at their fucking job, if I can imagine. But yeah, and India probably would have become a thing. Australia and Canada would have probably become a thing if the British didn't change. I mean, you had to change a lot of history to make it like that. Yes, I am Treehouse. I like that. I am the meat. Do I know what kind of white person I am? I am a white from Oklahoma. So you know what that means? That means we're white trash. That's what that means. And no, I have absolutely no idea what percentage of white I am. My mother doesn't either, so I could be English. I could be Irish. I literally have no idea. Considering, okay, so, and what I mean by that is, like, if you look at my last name, right, my mom's last name is Smith, and you want to know how many Smiths there are in America? It's like, at this point, I could have been called John Doe, or, like, John Smith, right? The most common American name possible. Yeah, if you guys get any more questions, based history stuff, imagine. I'm gonna try and get these B-25s out. By the way, the fact that B-25s can launch from this carrier is amazing. And also historical, because it is the USS Hornet. From what I know, the Anzacs were treated more or less like filler troops and expendables until after Tabuk, and the British realized that they wanted these guys somehow holding territory. So, kind of. Okay? Again, we have to go back to the British Empire, okay? So there were good parts of the British Empire, and there were bad parts of the British Empire, right? So, they didn't intentionally go kill their Anzac troops. Why? One, they're white, okay? Two, they speak English, and they didn't intentionally go kill them, okay? They were used tactically and specifically. They were just given the hardest assignments, because that's what they were, shock troops at the time. I'm going to play my Hornet again, because I can actually talk while I do aircraft carrier stuff. But, like Anzac guys, they gave them the hardest missions. And, I mean, if you take the hardest missions, you're going to be the elite guys. And the elite guys take a lot of casualties. And the same was to be said about the Indians. However, the Indian troops were not more or less shock troops. Some of them were. But if we're talking specifically World War I here, there were a lot of filler troops, and they weren't just thrown into a meat grinder. Okay, that's like the most common misconception. Is like, we're gonna throw our men into a meat grinder. No, they didn't like, hey, Indian man, go charge that machine gun because you're Indian. That's not how that happened. But yeah. James K, you are half Indian. Yes. Half-based Indian fighter. I see. I can do the and I can also do the Sikh thing, but they became somewhat treated special forces until World War II ended. Kind of, yeah. So I kind of went over that. But... And the same thing is true about like France, right? If you go look at them during World War I, of course, the Senegalese, right? They don't get a lot of mention, but yeah, Senegalese guys were hardcore chargers, right? And they came from Africa, right? And they were used to shock troops for France, right? Now, yeah, and then Anzac guys are hard country boys in that area. Yeah, they're basically the Texans of Oceania, which is amazing to me. But yeah, and then like the Senegalese again were used to shock troops. And the myth that they did, like, we didn't use them on the front line, blah, 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 because they're black. I'm like, no. And not during World War I. It's the same, okay. If we want to take the argument that the black troops weren't used by France, right? All right, and they're like, oh, man, the USA is so great, we use black. No, we didn't. We told the Harlem Hellfighters, hey, you can't be in an American unit because you're black. It's just as simple. And we did that all the way to World War II, and passed it, right? Black segregated units, all of that stuff, right? Like, even back then, maybe my skin color, I could have joined the U.S. Army. Maybe. There's a very small percentage chance that could actually happen, right? But yeah, no. So, black, you ain't gonna join the U.S. Army. France, they welcome the guys. They're like, oh my god, they're here, they're wanting to help us. Fantastic, right? They gave them really good equipment, They gave them helmets and everything. They put them on the front lines, and they were some of the best fighters, right, for France. And even in the U.S., but we didn't, of course, black people can't serve in the United States Army. That's unheard of. We can't do that. Can't be on frontline duty, at least, right? You can be a cook and a servant and all this other crap. But yeah, so. American democracy at its finest. Only when like 13-14% of your population was black, you can't all serve. Remember that thing about like segregation persisted until Truman made it go away, right? I think it's 48 is when it went away. I would have given the U.S. Army credit for World War II to Vietnam. It definitely became diverse. Now, okay, so here's the thing: with the way that happened, it became diverse in Korea, okay? That's when the general order was issued to stop to not have segregated units anymore. And it is true, right? When the white soldiers fought with the black soldiers, the bulls didn't really care what color skin you was. You were going to die either way, right? So it meant a lot of bonding. And that is especially true in Vietnam, okay? Especially in Vietnam. So, okay. We have to go back to 65, 66. So, we have all seen We Were Soldiers, right? Everyone in the chat, we have seen We Were Soldiers with Hal Moore, okay? Right? Now, all of those guys, were volunteer. Every single one of them was a volunteer. 2, they're all airborne qualified, okay? Think. At least back in the day, because there was no air assault concept yet. I'm fishy on that detail, but okay, let's just say they're airborne, okay? So, all of them, right? So, all volunteer. A lot of those soldiers were black. Okay? Now, the U.S. is taking a lot of casualties during this time. When you're taking a lot of casualties, it's going to look bad if a lot of black soldiers die, right? Because what was happening was a lot of black soldiers were dying, okay? Like at a disproportionate rate. And they're like, what the hell is going on here? Right? And, okay, to be fair, MLK looked at this and said, there's white officers killing the men, right? That's not what was happening. Okay? Again, U.S. officers usually don't have malicious intent. I'm not saying they don't sometimes, right? But usually there's a reason that something is happening, right? So, what was happening was black soldiers were dying at a disproportionate rate. I just want to see if you guys can figure out why, right? Why would some black soldiers that were in the beginning volunteers and 2 draftees, why were they dying at a disproportionate rate? I would like to hear your guys' opinion on this because I do know the answer. I'll tell you. But just think, right? What are black Americans doing in the 60s and 50s, right? How bad I was in infantry from 04 to 010. I've talked to you on the Discord before. I'll say my first hand from deployments, amazing racial issues work themselves out before deployment. Yeah, right? And those racial issues usually work themselves out before deployment, right? Bullets don't care what skin color is, right? And again, it was a little bit more racist during Vietnam, but, you know, stuff like that happens, right? And what was happening was, again, black soldiers were dying. The reason they were dying is because they were appointed the point man of the squad, okay? If you're a point man in Vietnam, you see everything. You hit the tripwires. You make contact with the enemy, right? All of that stuff is on you, right? Yeah, so no, James, they weren't given terrible equipment and sent straight to the front. That wasn't what was happening, right? They were told, hey, you need to be point man. And the black guys, to their credit, they volunteered for this, right? Because you don't want a point man that's not going to volunteer, okay? Right? Oh, I'm not going to volunteer. I don't want to check those traps, right? That's not how that happens. You're volunteering for that stuff, right? Just like the tunnel rats would. So they're all volunteers, right? And they get sent out there. And the reason is, right, they're a lot street smarter, okay? Remember, back in the day, we didn't have, like, there was no distinction between, like, college guys and regular labor guys. They were all basically all blue collar, okay? And the black guys back then were the street smart guys. This is the theory and what was taught, right? They were the street smart, which means they could sense, you know, danger, right? I shouldn't go down that alleyway because I'll probably get shot. I shouldn't go down there, so I'll probably get shot. I'll step on a tripwire, right? Appointed point man. They died at disproportionate rates, right? But they were good at their jobs. MLK, to his discredit, whatever, looked at that, said, nah, white officers just killing our men. So the U.S. Army started pulling them out of there, like those black soldiers, and like the rates of being killed went down. At least for them. Now, white guys probably died because of it, right? But again, it's just a race issue. You have to look at it in context, right? Because there was no all-black unit in Vietnam. It didn't exist, right? But yeah. And then the race issue, I won't say it worked itself out, right, in Vietnam, but if you talk to a lot of the veterans, they literally couldn't care what your skin color was in Vietnam. Literally couldn't care. Some of their best friends and their best mates were black in Vietnam, right? And they were white-collar guys from the rural South, which is like an oxymoron to what was happening in Vietnam. Have you ever noticed the objectives for many black athletes is explosive and athletic to the point where it's kind of cringe, yet it's exactly what you want on a point man? Yeah. So, again, you were like, Twitch Fiber, oh my god, Twitch Fiber, yeah. Basically, what James is talking about there, right? Twitch Fiber, which is basically, if I remember correctly, because, again, I'm not a biologist, black guys, blacks in general, Africans of African descent, have twitch fibers that allow them to have more explosive energy in their muscles for a shorter period of time, okay? White guys have it for longer. We have more endurance compared to blacks that have more spontaneous, okay? It's just a measure of that muscle, right? Because remember, again, the best runners in the world are all Kenyan. Or actually, I think they're Kenyan or Ethiopian, right? One of those. Long legs, black, high altitude, okay? There's a correlation there, right? And yeah, we can get into genetics and stuff, but yeah, I mean, like, it's just the stupid things that happen in Vietnam for just the most obscene reasons are retarded, right? But saying that one person was responsible for the failures of everything is like saying, I am bad man because I would like to be bad man, right? You could say that the politicians and Robert McNamara were like that, and I won't disagree with you there. I'll probably agree with you. Robert McNamara was a piece of shit, but, you know, the way he saw it, he was just trying to do his job, which was, you know, have our soldiers have the most cost-efficient equipment for the killing that they were doing, right? And, you know, and we've kind of done a 180 opposite on that, honestly, because if you look at our Vietnam equipment, right? What did the guys have? They had a rifle, they had a steel pot helmet, that had some webbing gear and ammo, okay, and boots. That was it. It was very cheap to outfit a soldier, okay? If you go to modern day Ask any of it today, right? The stuff that they still have from CIF, or CIF, if I remember correctly, the stuff you get issued right before you go over to deployment, all that stuff is given to you. You're like, oh my god, it's all brand new, and then you get out, right? And you're like, oh, I can keep this, and they're like, if you lost it, and we're like, yes, I lost it, right? So my friend from the 82nd, he's just an ammo guy, right? But he went over and he got like freaking Peltors out of inventory because they didn't exist, and they just had them. So if they don't exist and you just have them, you get them. The freaking Peltors are like $5,000 because he had the very very fancy ones, right? Yeah. So and like the outfit a U.S. soldier today with all of our modern stuff, probably easily like $20,000, $30,000. Let alone the radio. You give him a radio, it's probably near $80,000. So again, it just depends, right? Because Vietnam, yeah, steel pot dude. It's like kind of like that saying in Japan, like the cost of a soldier was like 1 yen 5 silver, something like that, right? That was the mail of the draft notice, right? And yeah, we could get into that, but it depends how small your unit is, yeah. Well, let's be real left, like keep it nice and simple box for some diverse equitable. Yeah. Wrapping. Right, because if we talk about like okay. So today, I know we're getting into modern stuff, but I don't care. Today, you have an option, okay? Especially if you're in NATO right now. You have an option between what you want for your military, okay? You either can do two things very well. You can either be like the British Army, which is absolutely tiny, right? If somebody invaded it tomorrow, it would keel over and die, okay? 50,000 people is tiny, okay? But they have gone with the approach that, hey, we're not going to fight any big wars. It's just not going to happen. And you could agree with them, right? If we have another big war, the game's over. We've lost, right? So they've gone with the approach of we're not going to have big wars, so therefore we're going to have a very small force that is very highly trained that has some of the best gear, okay? Australia has also done this, right? If you play squad, I don't know if any of you do, but yeah. If you play squad, they introduce the Australian faction. What do they all have? They all have ops cores. They all have Peltors on their heads, right? If I can look at squad U.S. infantry, we still have the Mitch helmet, and we don't have any earplugs because, yeah, right? The Australians can afford to give their guys more equipment, more money, right? Because they don't have as big of an army compared to the United States Army that's massive, right? Again, we can't afford everything, right? If we wanted to outfit our Australian like they do in the Australian, we need like freaking $50,000-$60,000 per soldier, but we don't have that kind of money. We need to actually have an army, right? And a lot of European nations have done the I'm going to make a very small army and give them very good equipment. And then some of them are just like, I don't know what a budget is. My budget is 0.80 of GDP, and I like protection. And it's real funny to me when Russia decides to declare war on Ukraine that all these countries in NATO are like, oh my god, I have to meet my commitment? Oh my god. And they start increasing their spending and just like, yeah, that's kind of what happens. I don't know what kinds of countries you guys are from, but you can type in the chat. I would actually like to know. Hopefully you're not all American like me, but you know, it could also be the case. And you could leave in the chat. If some of you guys are veterans, you can ask me some questions. I would actually like to know, you know, your service stuff, you know, because now it has been long enough that the Iraq War is almost like the Iraq War in 2003. Is almost 20 years ago, which is crazy to me. Absolutely crazy to me that 2003 was almost 20 years ago, which is insane, right? That's insane to me. I guess I just feel old now. But yeah, so, Oh, you are from us. Oh, man, he was from Australia. Wait, AUS? You're either from Australia or Austria, and I'm going with Australia, so... Yeah, Anzacs. Yeah, that makes sense. Australian. Anzacs. Makes sense. Well, now you know my opinion of the Australian Army, which is they do their job very damn well, and until they get fucked by their own political establishment, which is like basically what's happening right now. I don't know if you've seen the SAS. Okay. All right. So, let's talk about Australia for a minute. So, Australia has a special forces unit called the SASR. Okay. They're all special forces, and they're all around tier 1 guys. Okay. Maybe tier 2. I'm not positive on them. Okay, but they were convicted of. I don't know if they're actually convicted. Okay, but war crimes happened. Okay, let's just get the fact out straight. Right, there's a video on YouTube where this Australian dude blows a head off a dude. Okay, he's literally laying in a field with pear beets, and he's like, "You want me to drop this cunt?" And he says, "You want me to drop this cunt?" And then shoots him in the brain and kills him. Right. That happened undisputably, okay? Now, okay. These guys are, in fact, some of your best soldiers that you will ever have, okay? Now, what they did was, in fact, a war crime. That's actually pretty obvious, right? But they're some of your best soldiers. Now, Australia has, like, flipped the hell out that something like this could even happen, that they're, like, dismantling the SASR and like reconstituting the force and doing all sorts of tomfuckery and shit, right? And it blows my mind. I'm like, okay. Let's, for example, okay, just because the United States is like, we don't record shit, right? Because obviously, if that shit gets out of you shooting a terrorist or a civilian in the brain, right? It looks bad. Now, he may have had a very good reason to shoot him, right? But his reason was he's probably a terrorist, and I need to use his ammo, and we need to get something done, right? That's a reason, okay? And other times they would drag off prisoners of war, quote unquote prisoners of war, because remember, they're terrorists, they're not POWs. There's a very distinct difference, apparently. And they would go shoot them, right? But the thing is, these guys are your best soldiers, right? They go through the hardest training, and they do what their job is, which is kill the enemy. We're not meant to be like the world police force here, okay? They go kill people. And I don't know why that's a hard concept for us to understand. It's funny that most people don't know almost all the special forces around the world are full of psychopaths, including the beloved Navy SEALs. Yeah. Okay. So, to be fair, I wouldn't say they're all psychopaths. I would say that if you look at Jocko Willink on YouTube, he is the extreme example, okay? Most people aren't gonna go, I want to go kill all these people, okay? Most soldiers aren't like, yeah, I want to go kill all these people. That's not what it is, okay? I tell you, this is not what it is. Now, when you get to such a high level, and remember, these guys have been on deployment for years at this point, right? They have been constantly losing guys. Guys would get shot in the head and die, okay? Guys would run away. Guys would have cell phones on them and you can't shoot them. Guys would play in IEDs. You know he's doing IED maker, but you can't ID him. You can't do anything, and it builds in frustration, right? And it builds, and it builds, and it builds, right? And then you have stuff like the My Lai massacre. That was done by a regular U.S. Army unit, okay? By the way, that guy got like 2 years prison sentence and then let out. And killed over like 100 freaking people. But again, it builds and builds and builds and builds and builds, right? And okay, again, here's a hot take. Nobody gave a fuck, okay? When that shit happened, nobody gave a fuck over here in the United States. Why? It's just another brown person that died. Hot take, imagine. It's just another brown person that died. Nobody cared, okay? It's just some dude in the field, right? The only reason it ever got attention was the fact that it kept getting blown up on the Australian news. That was the only reason, right? If some U.S. Special Forces guy did that, right? Nobody would care, right? I don't know if there's any vets. Sounds. Oh, you're from Texas, yeah, but There's some brown person that go die. Oh my god, yeah, yeah. And okay, so, another hot take. All right, so the reason here's my hot take. The reason everybody cares so much about Ukraine, right? It's my plane's all dead. Big sad. The reason people care about Ukraine, okay? Hot take, hot take. Could you imagine? Because look, okay, there's a lot of conflicts going on in the world, in Africa and in Asia, right? We got Yemen still going on. There's a civil war, people dying out the thousands, right? Syrian civil war still going on, right? Um, the reason everybody cares about Ukraine is because they're all white. There's white women and children that are dying. Hot take. Imagine the European. Oh my god, everyone freaks out. I've never seen that amount of funding go to a war in my lifetime. All right, I'm not saying that is wrong. I'm just saying that is what is happening. Yes, as you say, in the industry we call it a whoops. Whoopsie, that man didn't have a cell phone. Let me plant it on him. It's like American Cops, except Iraq. You know, that'd be funny series. If you guys watch Vet TV, that'd be funny series if Iraqi Cops. What is no. American Soldier, Iraqi Cops, or something like that. It really says something when an American on the radio has more influence than the political leader. Well, if you quote unquote call people like influencers, which is the term I would like literally strangle someone over, technically maybe true, right? But policymakers do whatever the hell they want to do to get reelected. It's just like the same in every other country. Except the U.S., it's even worse, right? It's got two parties, and your choice is between A and B, and really it's between whatever your district is going to vote for, and whatever your district votes for is the way your party's going to go. So it doesn't really matter if you vote, right? Unless you had like 6,000 people vote your same way, which you won't. But it's also extremely hard to vote in America. Guys that killed them had funny accents. Yeah, you want to drop this cut? Yeah, well, they are Australian. But yeah, it's actually extremely hard to vote. And James K can attest to this. Like, if you live in Texas, okay, so just to live in Texas, so we'll get this out of the way, okay? Now, this voter ID issue, whatever bullshit, literally everyone has an ID, okay? It's called a driver's license. And you're like, oh, now everyone has a driver's license. Yeah, most people in America, fun fact, in America you have to have a driver's license to literally do anything. As long as you're not like in Boston or Chicago or like New York City, you need a car, right? So you need an ID. Congratulations, Texas is one of those places where you have to have an ID, okay? But that's not the problem. I voted in the 2016 election, and I'll tell you right now, I voted for Trump because I thought he was, no, not the 2016, the 2020 election, okay? I voted for Trump. And you want to know what my vote meant? Nothing, okay? It didn't mean anything. Now, I actually looked at the ballot, right? Most people don't tell you. When you vote for like President Trump or whatever, right? You're also voting for literally everyone in your district, which is like your railroad commissioner and a judge, right? Judges don't run up. I literally saw a judge thing, and it said, "Hey, your choice is X," and I'm like, "My God, it's X." I have no choice because most judges run unopposed. Because judges are elected in America, but that's a different issue, right? But right, so to go vote, you have to be registered to vote. Okay, which means you have to fill out a form, okay, ahead of time to go fill out this form, okay, and then you have to go to the specific place that you are registered to vote from, which is mind-boggling, okay. So, for example, I was registered to vote at a middle school, okay. I looked at that thing; there was nobody outside at all, and I was like, "What the hell? There's nobody here." So I drive to Marcus High School, which was a high school I went to at the time. I was 19, right? And I went there and I was like, "Yo, can I vote here?" And they're like, "Yes, you cannot vote here. You are not registered here." And I'm like, "Oh, where the hell do I go?" And they're like, "That middle school." I'm like, "There was nobody there." Like, well, there should be. And so I drive back over there. And again, this took like 2 hours because this is the first time I tried to go vote on something. And I went back over there and I had to sit in there and then go vote. I was like, this is so stupid. Like, imagine you don't know where you're registered to vote, right? Or say that the line is like 20 hours long. You can't vote, which is so stupid. But, America. I don't know, bro. I'm pretty right-wing white dude. I just really don't give a shit about people in Ukraine. Dead serious. Yeah, the hot take. Honestly, to be fair, I thought we were like fucking drop nukes on each other. I was actually kind of scared at when Putin said, "I have ordered my nuclear forces to go on high alert," and I'm like, "Can you not press the big red button? Can we not do it?" Yeah, I don't feel like going to nuclear war today. As I remember that day, and I was like, "Hey, Ma, I love you. If I don't wake up, I guess we all blew up in nuclear fire. So yeah, and stupid. Ow is okay. I guess I could talk about Ukraine for a minute. I'm gonna talk about it for a minute because I don't really know what's going on. All right, so Russia got its ass absolutely trashed on, which is a goddamn clown car. The Russian military is a goddamn clown car right now. They they had to pull out of Kyiv with they had to pull out of Kyiv after they did an airborne assault to take the airport. That failed. And then they did a ground assault, couldn't do that, and that failed. And they're just getting completely decked on by some dude with a Mosin, literally. And, yeah. Anyway, so the eastern half, yes, the eastern half of Ukraine is now under Russian control, right? And, they're not getting it back. I don't know what the peace treaty is going to be like, but they ain't getting it back. I'll tell you that much right now. Russia ain't gonna let it go. Yeah, so Ukraine's gonna get divided. Imagine. But yeah, Ukraine is doing very well. I will admit, I don't think anyone thought Ukraine would do that well against Russia, of all people. So, props to them. That and the amount of lend-lease literally everyone in the world is sending them is like gonna make Russia cry. Here in us, you have to vote for whoever has the funniest name, since none of them are going to do anything anyway. Hey, at least that is true, because Australia, if I remember correctly, Australia's also a two-party system, so it doesn't really matter. I don't know if it matters for your district, right? Because if your district, for example, mine, right, was Republican, and it voted like 8,000 people Republican, so my one vote doesn't matter because it literally doesn't matter, right? Because the way the district votes is the way that is counted for presidential elections, not the actual vote. Doesn't matter. Your local election kind of matters, but again, nobody cares. The bathroom to hard down line. Konrad and Kyiv is just a distraction for Ukraine forces. We're losing. We can't lose. Yeah, well, Russia found out that apparently it can actually lose to a bunch of guys, some AKs, and literally zero training. Now, to be fair, Ukraine is not like this majestic, unbeatable machine, right? It definitely is killable. Just you have to be at least semi-competent to win, right? Because a lot of their militia forces are, if you watch some videos, like some of those tank guys' videos, they fire a law, right? They fire a law at a tank column. What does a tank column do? Okay, the infantry dismount, they take cover. The BMPs immediately suppress the position that the RPG came from, right? This is what you're supposed to do. Immediately suppress the position that this shit came from. They do that. Then the tanks fire canister and high explosive into wherever they think it is, and they all die. So, I'd be surprised if 1 out of their 10 missiles would work. I was feeling foggy, but also surprised that they had disappointed out of 4 out of 10 missiles working in retaliation. Yeah. Also, butchering my English language, I'm using the text while drinking a tall beverages. Well, it is now. Well, it's about to be Friday, and 16 minutes. American right to drink. Well, can't buy alcohol. Well, they actually changed the law, so you can buy alcohol on Sundays now, just after 12. So, I was about to say we are God-fearing nation. Well, that was another issue we could talk about, I believe. But yeah. So I don't know if whatever country you guys live in, so we got one in Australia and then one of my fellow Texans that can attribute the absolute tomfuckery that the American political system is. And imagine. Yeah. Like, how I'm supposed to be playing WoWs and I'm literally just like ranting and my team is doing whatever they want and I should knock around my ship. That would be a good idea. Oh. Another hot take. I don't know if anybody lives in Belgium. Whoop. I don't know if anybody lives in Belgium, but please unfuck your uniform. I have seen it on NATO exercises now with U.S. troops in Romania, and I am astonished that that uniform is literally your uniform. It is the ugliest color I have ever seen. I know for a goddamn fact that they don't offer any camouflage whatsoever, right? I don't know if anybody has actually seen it, but it's basically like brown, green, yellow. Maybe it's meant to like represent your country's colors, which is another stupid issue I could get into, but you know what? Why am I getting this issue? Like having a uniform that is based on our country's history is retarded. And if I'm not getting shot at, I can go pull it up. So the Lebanese army has a uniform. I want to go find this damn picture and put it up. The Lebanese have a uniform that is quote unquote symbolic of like the people, right? And in reality, what that means is it's like a uniform. I can't describe it. It's like a uniform with a whole bunch of like Libyan national like people on it, right? Literally, it's like a uniform with like a bunch of faces on it, right? It offers absolutely no camouflage protection. And I'm like, are you even an army? You're just like a dress-up parade. To be fair, Arab armies have their own damn problems, and you know what? I'm gonna go find this. Oh, here it is. Oh, here it is. I found it. Okay, let's look at this piece of shit. I think it was Lebanon. I don't think Palestine has an army besides Hamas. So Lebanese armed forces. Maybe it wasn't Lebanon. Maybe I'm trashing on the wrong country. I think it was Jordan. One of these random Middle Eastern countries that decided to put polka dots on their uniform. So it's weird. If I find the image after this game, I'll go pull it up. But yeah, having like your national colors on your uniform, or like having it be like stupid colors is weird, right? Okay, for example, let's look at Ukraine's camo, right? It's all tan because they want to be distinct, and I'm like, cool. You know what would be better? OD green. Or white overalls. I could imagine. I'd rather prefer green or white overalls compared to tan, right? So, yeah. Lebanon? Okay, it is Lebanon. Yeah. Oh, I want to find it. Lebanon. Lebanese army uniform. Let me see if I can actually pull it up, because it is hilarious that it actually exists. Oh yes, peace camo. Okay, yeah. Okay, I found it. It is actually called peace camo. Oh, it's so bad. Oh, it's so bad. Come on, video. Yeah, the NBA uniform of soldiers helping people on them, right? Like, I'm like, oh, what is your army? A damn showboat? Is that what it is? Right? Oh man, it is beyond retarded. Yeah. Here it is. Let's find it. Okay, let me see if I can pull it up here. Then boopity boop. Game's already over anyway. It doesn't matter. But yeah, this Lebanese uniform. Let me find it. I have the picture now. Now I need to Display an image. Oh, okay. Okay. Yes, I have it now. Here we go. Okay. Okay. Right. So, yeah, to be honest, those armies. A lot of fucking armies are stupid. All right. So this is the actual camo. Literally, this is the camo print. Right. Which is, I can't imagine a worse thing you could possibly do. Right? It's not like the Lebanese army is going to fight anybody and win anyway, right? So, you know, if they're not going to fight and win anyway, I mean, maybe make a political statement. But, you know, Lebanese army doing anything. I don't know. It's just stupid. So they parade around and they say they look, I have all this money, and yeah, look cool. And no, they look beyond stupid, is what this is. Oh, man. Peace, Cambo. A hidden soldier in war now sends a message of peace to the world. Maybe people should tell them that when you join the army, you sign up to fucking kill people. Okay? If they say, "Hey, grab a rifle," you're no longer an ammo dude. You a dude that's gonna protect this base. Like, peace, camo. No. There's a controversial opinion here. Israel doesn't have any actual camo for its. I could be wrong, but I don't think it changed yet. For any of its actual ground troops, they just have like OD green, which I don't like. However, it is still decent camouflage. It is green, so you can blend into most things, right? But yeah, this is. I get rid of this stupid image. Yeah, it's just like overall OD green. Like again, okay, it's very cheap, but I know Israel actually has money, so they could actually get a uniform that's not. They could get multicam. Pretty much anybody can get multicam. I mean, even I could like buy multicam for like $100 or less, like a full set if I really wanted to. But yeah, if you have any more questions or you want some more hot takes, I'm free to answer as I continue to shoot this Kansas at 14 kilometers. Ooh, he's within range of secondary batteries. I'm gonna shoot him. Yeah, the funny thing is, if you've noticed, that the most successful armies that actually still do shit in the world don't have retarded camouflage. Yeah, I can't imagine the correlation there. And New Zealand basically just disarmed its own damn armed forces. They just don't exist anymore. They're a peace country. They've given up war until someone takes them over. You know. Australia, how could you let this happen? That's a real question, Jones. How could you let your fellow country of New Zealand fuck themselves so hard that they go ban knives? Literally ban knives. That was the funniest shit I had seen like that day. They go ban knives. Ah, I got him. I'm gonna now shoot this Kansas with secondary batteries and kill him. I could actually probably kill him with just secondary batteries. It would be funny. I want to kind of end this game. I'll actually shoot my guns. Oh, there he goes. He's dead anyway. James Jones won't answer me. Guess I could play the Georgia now. Have even more shooty bang bang. More shooty bang bang. More shooty bang bang. you know. And then we got China over here. Being like, oh, Ukraine? Yes. It is time for Taiwan to not exist. Because we probably tried to stop them, but their politicians realize that they're too busy having nothing meaningful impact on the world. That's true. That's true. Yeah, I know the half a minute thing on the stream. Can't fix it because, 4K. So I want max video quality. But yeah, fucking New Zealand. Such a meme. Oh, a tier 10 game. No. At least it's not super ships. At least it's not super ships. Yeah, but New Zealand has fallen from grace. Although, to be fair, they're only a country of 5 million people, so they really can't do anything anyway, besides farm sheep, so... What's you gonna do? Instead of goat farmers, they're sheep farmers. Me brain hurt. Yes, but if you would ask more questions, you could keep my brain from hurting as much. That would be helpful, because I ran out of shit to talk about. Because we've talked about Ukraine, we have talked about shitty military uniforms, we've talked about New Zealand, we've talked about war crimes, we have talked about the SASR, we have talked about Special Forces guys in general, we've talked about Israel, we've talked about sheep. I'm gonna get bombed. Literally gonna get bombed. Create the ultimate human hybrid soldiers, rivaled only by the average Chinese propaganda film. Yeah, true. The thing is, China will literally throw millions of men at a problem until the problem goes away. They're like the Soviet, what the Soviet Union dreamed it could be back in World War II. Oh man, having like 1.3 billion people. No, that is the dream. The dream team. Get bombed again. Yep, I'm gonna get bombed again. Ooh, only took some of them. Okay. I am shooting with all my secondary batteries, but I am burning to death. My second battery even hitting this dude? Kind of. I mean, I will survive, mostly because he can't actually kill me with torpedoes, but... Oh, those torpedoes are gonna hurt. Oh, and 10,000 health. I'm gonna eat all of those, and I will probably die. Yep. But this is what WoWs is now. You can't play aggressive, because it's fantastic. Get shit on. Whoop. Oh yes, I also like the fact that so we'll play the Russians, right? The Russian cruisers were obviously known for their incredible radar and anti-aircraft defenses in World War II, right? That is a known fact. The Russian anti-air was the best in the world, and so was their radar, obviously. It couldn't be the U.S. No. It couldn't be the U.S. with proximity fusing on their AA guns. And it couldn't be the U.S. with radar-guided gunfire directors. No. Couldn't be us. We couldn't do that. No. That's impossible. You're speaking heresy. On a U.S. The whole thing about China invading South Asia and she's like they can do it, but they'll end up like Taliban. Well, okay. Here's the problem with that analogy. China can just shoot them all. That's it. China is so totalitarian that they could literally kill their entire population and be like, I don't see a problem here. Like the Uyghurs. But that's another issue, right? U.S. is like, oh no, we can't kill them. We have to, build hearts and minds. China, on the other hand, doesn't care. China is like big bad man. He comes in there, he spray. Like, remember, a population can't rebel if they're all dead. So, it's like what the Soviet Union did to like all the Baltic countries. You can't rebel if I shoot all of your men. Which is what they did. And is right, they did rebel, because they're all dead. I love totalitarianism. It's fantastic. It's a 10 out of 10. It's a great way to just win at everything. You can be president for life. You can make money whatever you want it to be. You can shoot everyone that doesn't agree with you. That is true. China technically does break every few hundred years. Maybe they'll break when Xi Jinping dies. The God Emperor Xi Jinping. Or Winnie the Pooh. Probably not, though. And the problem is, in a few hundred years, they'll be in control of everything. But, I mean, to be fair, they really should be. They have 1.2 billion population, and the U.S. only has like 330 million. Like, we're gonna lose eventually, but that's what our supposed allies are for. And oh wait, they don't pay their 2%. It wouldn't be so bad if everyone actually did their job and NATO wasn't just a clown car, but, I like that AUKUS thing, by the way, the US, UK, Australian Defense Pact that we have now signed. I forgot that was a presidential power, right? Because Joe Biden could go do that by himself and didn't need approval from literally anybody. Nobody in Congress, nothing. You can just go do that. Which I was like, goddamn. I was like, I forgot that was a power you can do. Just walk into a country, we're like, yes, we are now allied. The existence of Western China that doesn't even listen to the government and simply live their lives as farmers. That is true. I've actually been to China and Tibet, and let me tell you, oh boy, the repression in Tibet is real. I can't imagine what it is in the Uyghurs, but oh man, there's so many fake quote unquote influencers that are like, yes, there is nothing. There is absolutely nothing wrong here. They can't be committing genocide. It's impossible. And they're like on a street walk, and I'm like, I'm sorry, what? You're just lying. So here's my China experience. I'm not going back ever, right? Ever again, anyway, right? So we get to Tibet, right? We land in an airport. We get off. We get on a bus, right? As soon as we start driving down here in Tibet, I was like, holy shit. We start pulling up. I see hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Chinese flags everywhere. I was like, oh shit, they were really trying to do that. And so we get to a checkpoint, and then our interpreter, right, our guide for the religious trip that we're supposed to be on, because apparently I'm supposed to be Hindu, but fun fact, I'm not. They're like, whatever you do, don't move, don't say anything. I was like, what the hell is going on? And we go to like a military checkpoint. I'm like, oh, fantastic. So we have some dudes coming on the thing and are like, yes, we will check all your passports and make sure nothing is suspicious here. We go through that. We get into the main city. Hundreds of Chinese flags still. Everywhere. Everywhere there is Chinese flags. And I'm just like, man, that is something else. And you get to the airport, right? They have riot cops in the airport. They have riot cops, and then when you get there, they're gonna fingerprint you, they're gonna iris scan you, they're gonna body search you, and literally know everything about it, right? Like, Tibet isn't real. TM the post was sponsored by the CCP Glorious China. You're right, Tibet doesn't exist. It's just China. Oh man, it was bad. And the funny thing was, in Tibet there were so many. Okay, I know ethnicities. There was so many Han Chinese there doing whatever the fuck they wanted. I saw only a few Tibetans anywhere. They didn't know businesses. They were in the temples. That was it. It would be like. It would be like if we built. Oh man, it would be like if we built like a Native American reserves and put like Native Americans in tribal gear and like sat them on podiums. Like that was the best way to describe what Tibet was in a nutshell. The amusement park. I was like, oh my god. Not to mention we had to like bribe everybody, but you know that's just normal for pretty much everywhere in Asia. So yeah, that's normal par shit. And then in Nepal, you have to haggle with everyone. Oh my god. Now, haggling can be fun if you do it right, but my dad at that point was like, Okay, so the dude would be like, I will give you this piece of shit jacket that says Arc'teryx or Adidas that's clearly fake for $100. And my dad would say, no, $5. And the dude would be like, no, I can't do that, sir. And my dad's like, all right, I'm walking the fuck out of here. I'm like, this isn't how you haggle. Like you meet somewhere in the middle. You don't go from I want you to pay $100 to I'll give you fucking $5. But yeah, it's just weird. Oh man, the fake knockoffs in Nepal though were amazing. You could buy anything you wanted in Nepal. Anything. You could get like a Gucci bag that was clearly fake, but it had all the branding and everything on it, and it was amazing. I am the only one over here. Can I even turn? No, not really. Well, yes, you could haggle. If you have any haggling stories, haggle. And yes, I will be streaming tomorrow as well about history. It'd probably be about, I don't know. I'm thinking the Panther tank or the Sherman, because Wereaboo's screech and everything. The sheer amount of Chinese knockoff instruments you find on eBay here is hilarious. Yeah, okay, I always knew there would be knockoffs in China, right? Cool. I didn't know that about Nepal, right? Nepal. Had no idea that there were hundreds of whatever items you could possibly want in Tibet, or not Tibet, Nepal. It's amazing. This stuff like that supposedly cost $5K for like 3. Yep. And buy anything you want. Anything you want. I give you a good price. Oh, we're gonna get decked on. Fire! Ooh. There's the Citadel. Oh, this is gonna hurt. There we go. One down at least before I died. I actually might make it. Ah, Kuznetsov! Ah! Ah! Ooh. Fire torpedoes. Fire torpedoes. Fire torpedoes. That's a lot of torpedoes I launched. Wow. Wow, that actually might kill him. Oh. There we go. There we go. There we go. Gaming. Gaming. Okay, yeah, we won. 66,000 damage isn't that bad actually for a WoW game, especially Natali. The Russian superior engineering with radar will constitute a very, very good victory. Hmm? Yes? I like that. I'm also curious if anybody's actually still here. What type of content do you actually watch me guys for? If you all say Hoi 4, I'm going to implode. At least somebody has to like something else I do. Ah, top of the team to you lads. Do I have all my containers? I need one more container. Let's see. I will play Megador. I will be Speedboat Boy. The Speedboat is a very good French destroyer that go very fast, and it goes so fast that it breaks the laws of physics. There used to be a game mode in here where you could if this boat, or I think this or the Colbert, which is a tier above it, could fire a torpedo, and you could go faster than your own torpedo, which is even funnier than it's hilarious. Only four because having someone tell me what the numbers means easier than figuring it out myself. I guess. I guess. Yeah. I guess I'll start making. I want to make freaking the Doctrine guys next or something like that. But yeah, maybe mod reviews or something. I don't know. I don't know. I get kind of sick of doing Hoi 4 reviews over and over and over and over again because there's only so like I have played this game since 2016. Yes, I know a lot, and I could probably help people. But my Naval Guys series, for example, is like I think over freaking 25 videos now, and I still have barely covered like how to actually like do like multiplayer combat, right? Like I think the next one I can show you guys is like how to use carriers in a striking fashion without them actually being in battle, which is basically you sit them on a province, a sea tile, and you tell all of their planes to strike another sea tile, and you just win. And is uncounterable because one, the enemy fleet isn't really there, so you can't actually see it on the map mode if you have intelligence. It doesn't exist. And you just see all your ships die. You're like, fantastic. Fantastic. Like Hoi 4. Okay, here's a pet peeve of mine. I love the fact that people say I am a Hoi 4 like tournament player, like someone like Grisha on YouTube. That's a 14-year-old Russian dude that he has some spicy takes about the damn Ukraine war, which is even funnier. Wow, I'm getting destroyed. I could have. Okay, so here's a problem with. Okay, so here's something that you that I don't know if any of you understand these MP4 games. Okay, so here's a fun take you get for being here. Those Hoi 4 MP games that I used to post, right? One, don't do very well in the actual views. But two, more importantly, they're kind of fun sometimes. But the thing is, those games take from 9 in the morning till around 7 p.m. for me. So 9 to 7 is the usual time frame, okay? And I say usual because those damn things can go all the way to 10. which is over 12 hours of straight gaming in Hoi 4, which is insane. It's absolutely crazy. And I don't usually have the time to go do that, like, all the time. I'm gonna die here. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no! Run away! I'm dead. My torpedoes will kill him? Question mark? Sad. They all missed. Yeah, so let's get a calculator out. I actually want to figure this out. So let's look. 9, right? So 10, 11, 12. So 3 hours. So 10 hours usually can go to 12, 13 hours straight. Yeah, no, my brain dies. Like, this is what people don't understand about multiplayer is like, yes, in theory, you could, like, do all of the actual appropriate shit you're supposed to do for DD Rush Cat, please. Yeah, I know. You could do all the appropriate shit that you could possibly do. Right? You could like micro perfectly, right? You can build all your industry up and all of this crap, okay? But what people don't talk about in any of their damn guides is like the fatigue that happens, right? Because as you begin to play, you start fatiguing. And when you fatigue, you start getting slower in your response time. You start not thinking, right? For example, the Navy. If you don't set it up when you're an hour or two into the game, you're gonna forget about it, right? A perfect example is like I'm building ships, and if they're not ready by like the time I get into the war, it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna remember to train them. I'm not gonna remember to use them. Okay. And like tech is the same way. Focus tree order is the same way. If you don't write it down and plan it out, you're gonna forget, right? Because you're doing 100,000 things at once, right? And you people also don't tell you this is you have co-ops, right? And if they fuck something up, it's over, right? They could be managing your land forces and fuck something up and everything's over. And you usually, so like Germany's, it amazes me that there's some MP games where people are like, there's only one Germany. I'm like, you fucking crazy? Because usually Germany's have like 3 or 4 players on it. Because it is one of the nations that has to micro literally everything. You have to have one player that just sits on Germany, does focus trees, right? Research. Another player that's going to do Air Force. Another player, the other 2 players are going to do like Navy. Or not, sorry, Navy. Army. They're going to do the Army shit, right? Like all the tanks and everything. And the other dude is going to be doing Air Force and Navy shit. That's their whole job. And then the other player, the primary player, is just doing focus trees, research, and building shit. Right? And if you divide it out like tasks like that, it becomes easier. But if you put that all on one person, good luck doing anything. And then you have to do Lend-Lease, oil, convoys, hunting, subs, everything, right? It gets untenable. And remember, you don't pause. Like, I don't know if people get that. You don't pause in an MP4 game, right? Or an MP game. You go on speed 3, or you go on speed 4 until you get to the wartime, and then you go on 3. That's it. And you just have to deal with it. There's no pausing, there's no nothing. No bathroom break, nothing. None of that. We keep going, right? And it's just... Yeah, it's... That's not the main thing I don't think people understand is, yeah, you can be excellent in all these guides and shit, but you're going to fatigue and you're going to get tired and you're going to make mistakes. And it's just whoever makes the biggest mistake loses, right? If you lose all your tanks, it's over in Russia, right? So, Abenim, please. Find a destroyer that wants to kill me with torpedoes. As I continue to zigzag. There he is. Fuck. To avoid these torpedoes, I must turn left. To avoid getting decked on by a battleship, I must turn right. This game is already going fantastic. Okay. I am unspotted. Oh my god. I knew those were coming. Okay, that's 3 fires. Oh my god. Okay, I can probably eat only one. Nope. Cool. Cool. Now all this destroyer has to do is just spot them for me, and my secondary batteries can do their actual goddamn job. Well, I'm gonna die anyway, so fuck it. One of the other things about the 4 MP guys is that people say so many things about how to build a navy and use it, and there's no actual example of them using it. Yeah, I give examples of my fucking shit in my Hoi 4 guys, but I break it down like as fucking very basic as possible, and I'm like, look, this is hypothetically how you're supposed to use it, okay? You have to know your shit, and you have to be very good at it to actually use it, right? Like, people say, well, if you play vanilla Hoi 4, the strat is heavy cruisers and just shit destroyers, and that's it. And you just build as many of them as possible, and that's it. You win. Right? It doesn't take much brain power. But if you're doing subs or you limit like ship sizes and shit, and shit gets interesting, right? Then you can use carriers, battleships, and all of that crap. And there's a lot of ways to win a naval game. That's not just send them in. I mean, the easiest player to actually counter is someone that literally just puts them on task force and patrol. Because you know everything. You know where they are. You know what ships are there. You know their main fleet. Like, it's very easy to counter that shit. So. Well, I've been doing rather shit these last few games. My own fault, really. I think I will play... Z-52. Why not? Z-52 German destroyer. 135,000 XP. God damn. Z-52. So German destroyers have torpedoes. Very good torpedoes. Actually, pretty good torpedoes. Not as best as good. Not as good as Japanese torpedoes, but hey, you know, you got something. Oh, it's a tier 10 game. Flat out. Ooh, there's only one sub. Ah, I can actually do my job. Ooh, there's 2 Smolensks. Never mind. Wait. Petropavlov has radar. I think the Smolensk has radar. I'll bet. Well, I'm going to be. This is going to be a hard die myself. Also, if you enjoy these streams, you know, hit that like button. Anyway, no. In fact, if you actually do like these live streams, I would like to get some members because at 2 members I get more emotes, but I don't have any members, and that's the reason they're $1 to be a member, and you get a little cool sticker next to your name. I like those. So, if anybody is willing to donate $1, you can be a member. I'm not going to increase the price because I don't feel like that's beneficial for YouTube. And maybe we'll do Patreon shit later, but, you know. That's China. As China? China and Hoi 4? I'm sorry, what? Oh, man. There are people that play China in Hoi 4, and your existence is die. Literally. Like, in all the games I've played, Japan kills you, or if you beat Japan so bad, they request that you delete all of your divisions so they can take you over. There has never been a situation in which China and Japan were both alive at the same time for me. Okay? Not in 1940, 1941. Doesn't exist. Because the game's not balanced around it. It is impossible for it to be balanced around it. Unless you, like, DMZ the whole Chinese area. which is what some mods actually do. They're just like, China's died, and we have now DM'd the entire thing, so you cannot be attacked. I've heard the 56 meme game. I see. I wrote 56. I could do a mod review on that shit, but that game is fucking wanky, dinky, broken, so, you know. Ooh, shit. Oh, fuck. I don't like my chances. Uh-oh. God damn, that destroyer does a lot of damage. I forgot how much damage the druid does. Can my torpedoes actually hit the damn? Nope. Yeah, Road to 56. I'm not surprised you can speedrun it and do that shit. Wow, I have played 3 games like shit. Maybe I should stop. Yeah, we'll try our Dutch cruiser, because we'll try the actual piece of trash can that this thing is. In less than half a year, the Devos are gone in the CCP, and most warlords are dead. Huh. Like, half a year? Fuck. I had never played China, so literally, I think I played one Chinese game one time back in like 2018, and I won everything. And I was like, I have like 56 million manpower on like service by requirement, and I was like, this is stupid. I fucked up on that goddamn druid. I didn't think he would do that much damage. I guess he does really do that much damage. Ah, yes, A. Good. I will ram myself into there and die trying. Whoop-de-fucking do. Give me a... A, boys, A. Ooh, ooh. Good. Collision course has been set. I like this shit. Now watch me die getting over there. Well, I do believe I will. Oh, fucking detected. One of two things is gonna happen. I'll either make it to A, or I'm gonna get my cheeks clapped before I even get there. Oh, good. I'm getting bombed by a my own. That's funny. Dodge, dodge, dodge. I only got hit by one. Pretty good. Oh, what the fuck? Well. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, that's better. That's fantastic. Red of 56 play one of playing OP nations and play your control. You can just have them make so many units, nobody has supply except you. Yeah, I can't imagine what it is even now. The NSB update and all that shit. There's a destroyer over here somewhere. Go forward. Go forward. Do, 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 do. Where are you going, Mr. Cruiser? I have bombers for you. Probably all gonna miss, actually. There's a Benson. There's a Benson right in front of me. Oh my god. There he is. Get him. Get him! Get him! Oh, he's gone. Yeah, okay, so here's my thing. I don't actually play like Road to 56, like, at all. I have back in the day, but, yeah. That was about it. And I just took one look at... Wow, that's a lot of damage. I took one look at the damn entrenchment modifiers you could get for, like, the Netherlands, and you can get, like, 100 entrenchment, and I was like, yeah, this is fucking stupid. I saw that shit, I was like, yeah, 100 entrenchment on a, on a nation is ridiculous. Okay, mystery model, I will drop bombs there. Ah, I set him on fire. Bomber's back. Do it again. We're gonna keep doing this Yamato until you... Oh no. Please, I didn't mean it. No, Daddy, no. No, Daddy, no. No, Daddy, no! The two can play this game, sir. Can't be it for just bombing each other. Wow, they all missed. Road to 56 is balanced by the fact that nobody is balanced. I mean. I'm not judging the mod when they say... I mean, because I never said the damn mod was balanced at all. So I really don't have a fucking problem with them being not balanced. I just think it's a meme that it is so unbalanced. Like, that is hilarious. Because okay, like fucking people are like claim that like Hoi 4 is balanced and you can do esports on fucking Hoi 4, and I'm like, are you fucking stupid? Like, this game is not balanced at all in the slightest. It is ridiculously unbalanced. I'm getting shot in my ass. Stop! 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 He's trying to ram me. I bounced. Stop! There we go. Tango down. Ooh. Well, I tried. I did my damnedest. Ooh. Maybe I should do a Hoi 4 live stream next time. Maybe we have more people watch. Do a Kaiser Ducks one. I mean, those are kind of fun, I guess. I have actually been playing the new Kaiser Duck mod instead of no, I'm dead. Instead of regular Kaiser Reich, and it's actually pretty interesting. Did a Germany game, and I got Paul von Lettow-Vorbeck as my chancellor. It's actually pretty fun. I put like, what is it? The Union of Britain and France to like maximum difficulty, and then yeah, and I put them on max difficulty and killed them somehow. Well, I killed France. England is still there, and Russia is broken. So yeah. Okay, well, I think I will call the live stream there, as I'm clearly doing even worse in WoWs right now the later it gets. So, I'll see you people tomorrow for the history live stream if you would like to show up to that. Otherwise, you people have a nice night. I wish you the best. I will see you people later. Good luck, Werewood Jones, with your Australian bullshit. I'll see you people later. I've tried to play Kaiser before, but the lag plus a billion ideologies gets annoying. Trust me, you haven't seen shit. You play Kaiser Ducks, which is the it's like a sub mod for that game. It gets even worse. Like America has like I think like 25 different